Hey guys, it's Sam, and this is Top 5 Wednesday. If you are new to Top 5 Wednesday, I will leave a link to the Goodreads group down below for topics and such. Since you guys last saw me, I completely rearranged my office and bookshelves, painted, and got new lighting. So, things are a little different around here. Also, the purple's out of my hair. Pretty mad about it. It's because I didn't want to mess with it with work anymore, covering it up every day. But you better believe, as soon as I have a new job, your girl's getting color back in. Also, I'm wearing traditional lipstick, which I haven't done in a while. And it's weird not having liquid to matte liquid lipstick on my mouth. Let's get into Top 5 Wednesday. So this week's topic is top 5 books, or whatever, because you can do whatever with Top 5 Wednesday, with your favorite paranormal creature. So this is going to be, you know, like witches, ghosts, well not witches, because we already had a witches topic, but ghosts, werewolves, blah blah blah. So I thought of this topic because, you know, I create the Top 5 Wednesday topics, and I struggled with it because I would have to admit that probably one of my favorite paranormal creatures that's actually featured often in things are vampires. I have other favorite paranormal creatures, like I really love sirens, but I have yet to find a good siren book. You can barely even find a good mermaid book. Actually, I don't even know a good mermaid book. So I would say that that's a high on the list, and also like death gods and stuff like that, which is that paranormal, I don't know. It's a whole philosophical conversation. But as far as actual, what I'm thinking, like the big main paranormal creatures, shifters, and well, werewolves, and vampires, demons, ghosts, angels, that kind of stuff, vampires are the top for me. The problem is, a lot of vampire books are crap, you know? Because vampires had that whole like upshift, and then they're definitely in a downward spiral these days, and I really want them to be revived, just as a thing, and it hasn't happened yet. They'll come around, because they always do, that's the great thing about vampires, but they just haven't yet. And also, a lot of the vampire books I've read haven't been very good, so we're mostly going to talk about things that aren't books today, because your girl is trash for vampire TV shows and movies. So before we even get into it, because I know as soon as you mention vampires, people are going to be like, what about Anne Rice books? Anne Rice is a garbage can, okay? So I'm just not down with the Anne Rice, and I've heard that her books get increasingly horrible, and I've seen Interview with a Vampire, I've never read the book, I guess I could, blah blah blah, but I just haven't heard good things from the Anne Rice fandom, which is an old fandom. So I don't really feel like getting into that. So let's just get into the vampire goodness, shall we? First off, I want to do an honorable mention for kind of like the half vampires of the media world, like Blood Rain, which is a video game series that I used to love. Oh my god, I used to love it so much. And the Blade franchise, which is a comic series, but also famously a movie series. So I love these just kind of vapid action movies with all the stylization with the vampires, with usually it's the half-blooded, half-vampires that kill the other vampires. It's great. Like, I don't know, I love it. It's pretty trashy, usually, but I love it. And especially Blood Rain is just over the top. She kills people by, like, jumping on them, straddling them, and, like, it's very, like, late 90s male gaze. It's trash, but it's so much fun, and you can shoot using these, like, blood guns, so you, like, stick the, like, people that you're killing with, like, these blood guns, and you suck up their blood, and then you can shoot people. It's great. It's great fun. You know? It's a good time. But it's not good. So that's an honorable mention. Number 5 are the Underworld vampires. So again, like I said, your girl loves the action movie vampires that are kind of trash, but I love them. And something about the stylization of Underworld, like the blue filter, and all the Underworld movies, it's just so, it just gets me. And I just love Kate Beckinsale, and I like the hierarchy of it. They have it's been a while, but the 3 main vampire lord guys that like rotate every couple years, and you have like the vampire assassins and blah blah blah, all this stuff. So I just love it, and they have that aesthetic, that stupid vampire aesthetic, that I just love, that I'm trash for. Like, is it anything super different? No, they're vampires being vampires, or having classy parties and drinking blood out of glass chalices. Like, come on. It's ridiculous. but I love it. So getting into the actual good vampires, at number 4 we had the vampires from Buffy the Vampire Slayer in that universe. So Buffy is, as you guys know, like a show I grew up on and I just loved, so I think that just set the bar for my vampire love. I just love something about the lore. I like that their faces change, so when vampires get all vampy, their faces change and they get all these like, they look more animalistic, kind of like bats, honestly. I think that's cool. And there's just something about it. It's over the top, again, as you are in like the late 90s, early 2000s, it's over the top. But I just kind of love it. And there is a ton of lore to work with, and Buffy kind of pulls from so many different things. Like, there's an episode that's Buffy versus Dracula, which is admittedly like really stupid episode, but also like underappreciated. Anyway, I could go into that for a while. And Buffy started to just not even become about the vampires because there's way worse things in that world than vampires. Like, they're just kind of your run-of-the-mill, you know, like almost paranormal pests at certain points, but they're great. They're great. Number 3 are the vampires from the Anita Blake series by Lil K. Hamilton. As you guys know, the Anita Blake Vampire Hunter series is one of my favorite urban fantasy series of all time. And there's just something about this series too. Again, it's nothing super different. It's very typical urban fantasy tropes with these vampires, but I love them. And pretty much every major city in this world has a vampire. It's not an overlord, but it's almost like a vampire mayor. You know, I forget the name of them, actually. It's been a while. Guys, my brain doesn't work the way that it used to, and my memory's just crap. But there's like mayors of every town that they're like the, you know, head vampire in charge. And it has this interesting political dynamic that I just really like with vampire mythology and like modern vampires and city vampires. Like, it's just a fun time. So it's kind of mixes two things that I love, which is vampires and like gangs, like mafia stuff. And it makes them one. And I really appreciate that. Then you add on all their little like vampire powers, and there's a whole like bonding system within the Anita Blake series where you have like, you can be bonded to like your equal, not in like a mating sense, although theirs kind of is, but there's all these different kind of like bonds, and it makes people more powerful and all these abilities, and just vampire abilities, man, they're fun. Number 2 is a very similar vein, and that is the vampires from the True Blood TV show, aka the Sookie Stackhouse vampire, Southern vampire series, which I read a lot of those as well. And again, you have kind of like these lead vampires in certain areas. They don't really change a ton, they don't change their look a ton, but they're just great. There's something about them, man. I like the city vamps. I don't get what it is, I just love them. And like, some of my favorite vampires are from that show, obviously all of these shows, honestly, but the like Eric Northman, man, and Pam, like, they're just great. And there's just something about them, like these little vampire political stuff, and they have a vampire queen in there, and she's a big deal and she's great, and just like the competing things going on, and their makers being a really big deal, and all of this stuff that comes along with vampires, especially the True Blood vampires, and True Blood as a show in general, although it ended really crappy, it's just a fun time, man. What is it about vampire shows being so fun and addicting? Which is why number 1 is the Vampire Diaries. I feel, and maybe it's because I spent so much time in the Vampire Diaries fandom and obsessed with it, I love that lore for the vampires the most. I like the originals and all of that stuff, and even when you go past the originals, and just really the lore in general around the Vampire Diaries and all their paranormal creatures, and the witches, and the, like, almost gods. What is Silas? I'm forgetting. Doppelgangers. Here we go. Doppelgangers, which, like, who would have thought that doppelgangers would be, like, a really cool paranormal creature to investigate, but they totally are, and it's just a fun time. They're so fun. I love the whole, like, the Rippers, and them turning off their humanity switches, and like all the things that you explore within the Vampire Diaries. It's just a fun time. They're fun. They're all bad people. That's the thing about vampires, is they're all trash. When everyone's like, oh, vampires, they're supposed to be. That's why the Twilight vampires are kind of stupid, because they're supposed to be like, they're supposed to be a look at people's morals and all this stuff. That's how they started in like Victorian literature and Gothic literature and stuff like that. So they're supposed to be really bad. It's kind of the whole point. So I like that the vampires in the Vampire Diaries are like the whole gambit. You have some good vampires, generally speaking, but obviously they have to really work at it. And then you have the ones that just go like, they go hard, you know? And I just love all of them so much. I miss them. Still haven't caught up on the series. I know it's finished. I don't think I want it to end. It's still out there being all nebulous and unfinished for me, and I get to be happy with like the last few episodes I watched and just like leave it at a distance. So yeah, but we need some more vampire shows. I need more. When are the vampires going to be on the upswing again? Because I am here, I am ready, I am waiting. So comment below and let me know some books that feature your favorite paranormal creature of choice. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see all of you guys soon. Bye.